All right, welcome to Bringing Up Nick, where an important movie from my youth that Nick hasn't seen, well, he's going to watch it for the first time, and we're going to see what his take on it is. This time, easily one of my favorites, Aliens. What do you think Aliens is about?
All right, Aliens is the saga of a group of Starship Troopers who go to planet Mars. There are aliens there that are mostly just a big mouth, and they can do alien babies inside you. One of them does an alien baby inside of one of the characters, and it hatches out, springs out, and it's like, ah! One of them is a girl one. Her name is Ridley, like something like that. She gets in a big mech suit, and she fights a lot of the aliens, but some of them get shot with the alien plasma guns. She saves some sort of dog or cat or baby, and maybe one of the aliens is good.
Elliot?
The end.
All right, we're going to go now watch the movie. Nick, for the first time, I'm going to see it again, and, well, we'll have a chat afterwards. All right, we've taken some time. Nick has finally seen James Cameron's masterpiece, Aliens.
The masterpiece, huh?
I would definitely say so.
Okay.
I love it. This is about to get really interesting. See, now on a certain basic level, you must acknowledge, like, this is what was like when I saw Battleship Potemkin. Every cartoon from like the 30s suddenly made sense. Yeah. I'm imagining a lot of sci-fi and games suddenly made sense.
Just about like a third of every video game I've ever played. Like, there's so much. And I realize I'm saying this backwards, but there's so much Halo in there. There's so much like just Doom 3, Mass Effect, like Dead Space, like everything cribs very heavily from
Well,
Aliens.
I mean, I don't believe the term pulse rifle existed until Aliens, and now
That's
it is
pretty fundamental.
It's now the pretend gun. It's like what Levi's is to jeans.
Right.
Everything is a pulse rifle.
Yeah, it's iconic. It's the Kleenex of gun names, of sci-fi gun names.
So, did it hold up for your young?
You're gonna hate me for this because
I'm not gonna hate
Well,
you.
you
for
might
it.
not.
I want to hear this.
The internet might. I don't think it felt fresh to me. Like if you asked me for my honest opinion, I would be like,
Please, I want your honest opinion.
It's a little, and this is insane, it's a little generic sci-fi, and I realize that it's only generic sci-fi in the light of me seeing and playing a million things that are directly inspired by aliens, but to me I was just like, oh, Space Marines again. I'm sure at the time it was like, oh, Space Marines for the first time, but for me I was like, oh, great, another Gears of War. Like, it just felt like, I was like, oh, then that one's a tough one, and then that one's probably gonna die, and it's Space Marines. Oh, can I ask you something?
Please.
Did motion trackers exist before this? Like, before the Aliens franchise, were the motion trackers on guns, was that a thing, do you think?
I cannot think of a single movie that had a motion tracker.
God, because doesn't every sci-fi FPS have it? Like, the Halo one is lifted straight out of this movie. It's that motion tracker. Like, that was striking me. I was like, oh man, this is the beginning of Halo right here. It's the Rosetta Stone of sci-fi video games. Like, it is the movie from which every sci-fi thing ever seems to originate. It's a compelling, like, kind of weird story. Went in some directions I didn't really expect.
Okay, weird. Let's talk this out, because I'm really interested here.
Yeah.
Where is it weird for you?
I didn't expect there to be a element of the protagonist was cryogenically frozen for 58 years and like her whole world was left behind. I haven't seen Alien. Let's get that out there. So.
No, we haven't. We made the call to go ahead and have Nick just watch Aliens because of its relationship to video games.
Right. So that was shocking to me. I was surprised how little of the aliens we saw. Mm-hmm. Like they kind of, you don't really see an alien for like the first hour or so, it felt like, and then when you do, it's kind of in fits and spurts, which I think was to the movie's benefit. It made them a little bit creepier and helped the effect sort of like they look a little more real when you're only seeing them. And they're also like mucusy. They're also perfectly mucusy. That's one thing that stood out to me. Like those, I'm assuming there's a lot of practical effects in that movie.
This was in an era where there really wasn't much digital you could insert into it. There's green screen, but it also isn't green screen the way that we do green screen now. I don't know if I even used the term digital once in a sentence during the entirety of 1986.
Okay, digital wasn't Digital was invented in 1990. The word digital.
Yeah, there's still a little bit of time. We had to get to Terminator 2.
Gotcha.
To start to talk about that. You thought that there was a dog that had to be protected?
Some sort of animal, but no dog, I guess.
No dog, but there was a little girl.
Yeah, there was. There's a lot of like stuff about that movie that felt very maternal. Like that final scene where she's there with the little girl
And who does she fight at the end?
yeah, the queen amongst all her eggs. That was kind of a weird thing too. So I guess what happens is it looks like the queen is about to decide, and tell me if I'm reading this totally wrong because I've only seen it once, but she sees her with the kid. It seems like the queen isn't attacking, and she just kind of walks away and nothing happens. And then it seems like as she's like walking out there, she's like, oh, by the way, and just like roasts all the eggs. And I was like, oh, that
Well,
reignites
she also
the
happens
conflict.
to really hate aliens.
It seems like it, yes.
Yeah, she's kind of up on that. Now, outside of just like sort of the weapons and the look of everything, terms like game over man and fucking A, all of these things originate in that movie.
Yeah, that was shocking to me. A lot of catchphrases, a lot of like, what the hell are we going to use? Harsh language, that line. I kind of like how everyone also is just like the literally cigar chomping general who, as soon as he comes out of cryo, is chomping cigars again. Like a lot of sort of tropes and iconic characters that I feel like I've seen a million times that I'm assuming started here.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
So, one last thing, and you almost kind of touched upon this when we were talking about kind of the roles of the maternal in that. Did you notice something kind of novel about the way that the female characters were represented in this movie?
Get away from her, you bitch!
The tough, like, female Space Marine was awesome and absolutely like
Vasquez. That's the character's name,
yeah.
yes.
She like stood up for herself at every turn and was just like constantly like giving as much shit as she got and was like, I was like, wow, this feels actually really progressive and like bold for what I was expecting from like an 80s action movie.
Can you imagine that in a contemporary action movie?
Right, kind of not. And
Yeah.
like that's kind of the thing is I was like, man, I'm a little disappointed with how we're doing now on this like metric when movies from 1980 seven
1986 was that year.
1986 are kind of having like tougher, more interesting, more female protagonists with sort of more agency and strength than I feel like we get
A lot of
today.
it has to do with Cameron's wife at the time, Gail Ann Hurd, who is the producer of the movie. But, and eventually he marries Catherine Bigelow. But that's another discussion for another time
Sure.
and another place. We do have more movies that we're going to get to with Nick here. Next up,
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
yep, the guy hasn't seen.
Raiders.
So we'll have that up in about a week. We
Excited.
thank you again for joining us as we all try to get together and bring up Nick.